So Dave has been here since 2012. So it's been a long time, 7 years, September 2012. So Dave, take it away.
Okay. I don't have any formal presentation like that. I don't like doing those things. I'd rather just be able to use a whiteboard sometimes or just talk. Now, one of the things I asked the last couple of weeks is that you just email me some of the questions you have about insurance, and then I'll just do the Q's and A's and help tell you what you need to know, what you want to hear. A little bit about myself is that Dan and I used to work for the same company for several years. And then I retired from IBM after 31 years, and then pulled a stint with H&R Block as a district manager. And then I got tired of the corporate world and wanted to be my own boss, so I got into insurance. So I've been in insurance for probably about 14 years. So I am not a native Colorado, but I've lived here since 1963, so I call it my home. I've been living in Colorado all but 4 years at that time when I was in the military. But as soon as I got out of the military, I came right back home. So I'm going to start just looking over some of the questions that you emailed me. And Steve is gone. I don't see him. But Steve sent one, and he says, do you provide D&O insurance? What's the cost and what does it cover? Is anybody familiar with D&O insurance? Do you understand what D&O is?
Is it like DNA?
Do not ordain.
Pardon me?
Just give it a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
D&O is the directors and officers insurance. Okay. This is for businesses. Usually the standard general liability that you have on your business covers things like bodily injury and property damage. What it does not cover is protection against wrongful acts by the board members. If they were to make make prudent decisions, bad management practices, unfair employment practices, and it comes back on the board or a member of the board, that's what the D&O covers. The cost of that depends upon the type of board it is. Most of the boards that I do are nonprofit boards that's governed by a board. So that is what D&O is, and yes, I do cover that.
I think I need that.
And Dave, did you say that it covers all that if someone makes poor decisions, or then it does cover it or it doesn't cover it?
Your general liability does not cover that. It only covers,
But that does.
but the D&O does.
So what's the range of poor decisions? Like, how do you get that metric?
How do you what?
How do you understand the metric, the measurement of what a poor decision is? Like, is that like, there's a scale, it's a pre-written?
Spending $280,000 on a kitchen.
Okay, so poor financial decisions without gain would make sense, but like,
Yeah.
what
When you
range?
get sued.
You could get sued.
When you get sued,
Yeah.
When you get sued, that's a poor decision?
usually that's when the insurance kicks in.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So if there was a bad decision made by the board or a member of the board, and then the rest of the board finds out that then there's a legal action taken against that one member, the D&O.
Covers it. Okay.
Let's see, then I've got one from Will. He's been a lifelong apartment renter, and he and his wife are preparing to break ground on a house on June 1st. Doesn't know the first thing about homeowners insurance, and would love to know more about the basics. Okay, so yes, if you go into your closing for your home, you have to have insurance, or you're not going to get that loan closed. And the person who wants that is the mortgage company. Okay, they want to make sure that they're covered. Okay, and talking about homeowners, there's a lot of things that go into the information that I collect to do with homeowners. One of the major things is we want to make sure that we know what the replacement value is on the home. Okay, if you lost your home completely to like a fire, what is going to be the cost to build that same structure back up again? Okay, and that is very dependent upon where you live. The city, the county, country, town, all those things. Because they look at the labor costs where you live. They look at how accessible are supplies, lumber, and all that. So it depends on all of those things, but the main thing is we want to make sure we get a true replacement value of your home. Now, people are going to look at that and say, no, my home is worth more than that. I paid more than that. Well, you also paid for the land. And the land does not get destroyed. It stays there. So it's just replacement of the dwelling. Okay? So there's a lot of other things go into the homeowner's policy. But that's basically kind of answers Will's question. And then Robin, let's see what she wants to know. She says, how do I know if we have claimed all the insurance benefits we should? Like now we have hardy plank siding. Well, when we look at your home in order to get an insurance policy on it, in order to calculate that replacement value, we look at, and I got a software that does this. I put in square footage, the amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, where it's located, and the outside structure, the inside structure, fireplaces, what type of fireplaces, how many fireplaces. All those things go into that. And so if you wonder if you own a home right now and you just want to know, am I sufficiently covered? Then I can sit down and we can go over that to find out. It should be built into your homeowner's policy that each year that it is recalculated for increased costs to replace your structure. Okay. It also covers unattached structures, fences, sheds, barns, all those type of things. So I only did get 3.
But not landscaping, right?
Not, well, yeah, it somewhat does. It will cover trees. So if that's something, a big hailstorm came through, completely destroyed your trees and stuff like that, you can get that coverage on your home.
We had that last year, and I lost all my apples. And I tried to put that in a claim. They decided that that wasn't.
Apples are not trees.
Well, it was the apples on the trees that got
yeah.
destroyed for the hailstorm. They felt like that wasn't. They're like, do you sell the apples? I'm like, I could.
So I'll just open it up for any other questions they have. Sage?
Yeah, how does that process work when you're like recalculating the total insurance coverage annually? Is that up to the person who has the insurance to call in and tell and say, this is what I want to add in? Or do you reach out to them? Is there an online process?
Whenever the insurance comes up for renewal, then I let them know that here's their renewal. And if the premium has gone up or gone down, I let them know that. Most times, homeowners' policies are paid by the mortgagee. So you never see that until, when you have the PITI that you pay in your home. But the other part of your question, though, is, so repeat your question.
Yeah, just wondering like how that process works for insurance in terms of having that annual review. If that's on the homeowner to disclose those additions, or is that
Yes.
something that you guys?
Yes, I depend, I mean, I'm not in their homes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did have a client that when we did the house, they had an unfinished basement. Okay, about a year and a half later, I was over at their house and they said, "Oh, look what I come on here, I'm gonna show you. I finished my basement," and he was real proud of it and everything. And I said, "You didn't call this in, so right now your finished basement is not covered." So
Right.
we had to change that and put an endorsement in for that. So I depend a lot upon those type of things. If they put an addition on the house, then I need to know that, any kind of change. You bought a diamond ring worth $25,000, then I need to know that so we can get that properly insured.
Also not a great financial choice.
Any other questions? Yes.
So in the instance where something happens to someone's property and then they're displaced from their home because it has to be repaired and rebuilt and everything, does that homeowner's insurance cover them living in another place during that time?
The homeowner's insurance usually has a provision that covers any excess costs. You have to go out and rent someplace or live out in a hotel, motel. Any additional costs for food. Now, you would pay for food in your home, but it's the additional cost because you have to go out to restaurants all the time. Those type of things. I had an increased mileage. I live 2 miles from work. But now, the place that I am staying until my house gets renovated is, 25 miles. So that additional cost would be covered.
Is there I'm assuming there's some kind of cap on that. Is
There
that
is,
just
yeah.
determined based on what kind of coverage they've signed up for?
Yeah, usually that's a built-in to an insurance policy, but you can increase it. So when you do an insurance policy and I get you the quote and everything, it'll have an amount in there. Usually that's sufficient. But if you want more, then we can do that.
Dave can.
Oh, over here.
Okay.
Oh,
Since the flood in 2013,
yes.
our basements got getting cracks
The floor.
in the concrete
Mhm.
and the garage and stuff. Would that be covered?
And it's due specifically to the flood?
Well, we can't know that because we're not experts, so.
Okay.
But there was flooding in our neighborhood and we didn't have anything obvious, but I think the foundation got disturbed.
What my suggestion would be is that we have a claims adjustment fund take a look at it. Now, if it's due to the flood, then FEMA is the one that covers flood. And that is a federal.
It's better if it's not.
Pardon?
It's better if it's not due to the flood.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a certain amount of time and a certain amount of what's covered under FEMA. So if your basement floods, it'll replace such things as your furnace, anything that's permanent down there. But as far as if it's a finished basement, it does not cover any built-ins, like bookcases, doesn't cover the carpet, doesn't cover the furniture. FEMA doesn't do that. It's just the structure.
We have time for one more thing.
Yes.
Do most homeowners policies, when you ask for a quote of it, come with a sewer backup in it, or do you have to ask for that as a rider?
You have to add that on, and you have to quote for that.
Can you explain the difference between, how water could show up in your house that way?
Okay. Let's say you have a dishwasher, and the dishwasher hose broke or something like that, and your kitchen's flooded, and it went down your hallway, that would be covered under water and sewer backup. Sewer backup, let's say that your neighbor has a small child, and they flush a diaper down there. And it gets down so far, but then it backs up into your place. Then that would be covered. Now, if you have a septic system, you're not really on a sewer system. So the septic, if it backed up it would repair any damage to the house. But now to replace a septic system or a water line, the water line from your house out to the street, that's your responsibility. Then if it's beyond that, then it's the city, okay? But if it's got to be dug up and it's got to be replaced, that's your expense.
All right, Dave, thanks very much.
Okay?